Thanks for tuning in to the TDM podcast presented by TreeDogMedia.com. TreeDogMedia.com is sponsored by the Canine Transporter. If you're looking to have a dog, puppy, or hound of any type hauled, give Nicole Merkel a call at 912-656-9790. She's USDA licensed, climate control vans, and the best hound transporter in the nation. Otter Creek Embroidery. They are the exclusive hat maker of TreeDogMedia.com hats. Give them a call or look them up on Facebook for all your embroidery needs. Cajun Outdoors Cajun Lights. The Cajun Blinder. The most brightest light on the market and a quality hunting light built right here in the United States of America. Little T Coon Squallers. The Triple Threat, the Original, and the Pro Series are three of the top line and best coon squallers on the market today. And last but not least, our new exclusive sponsor and partner, Dan's Hunting Gear. Thank you, Dan's Hunting Gear, for coming on board for Tree Dog Media. And if you need any hunting gear, visit TreeDogMedia.com, TDM Supplies, for all your Dan's hunting supply needs. All right, everyone. Today we're joined by a world-renowned English houndsman, Mr. Randall Powell out of Texas. You may know him, may heard of him. He's the owner of River Bottoms Cracker Jack, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want to thank Randall for coming on this podcast and taking the time to do this. So thank you, Randall, and we really appreciate it, sir.
Glad to be here, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, sir. Before we get in, just, for those who maybe are listening that don't know you, or maybe they think they know you, just tell the people, a little bit about yourself, some dogs you hunted, things like that.
Well, I born and raised here in Texas. I'm 42 years old. Got a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I don't get to hunt as much as I used to, for sure. But when I was a boy, I guess starting with the red fern groves is what got me hooked, like the rest of us probably. But started hunting when I was 7 or 8, and old man here in town had some red bones. We went and hunted. Another fella had a black and tan and a blue tick and a walker dog that I hunted with until I was in high school. And after college, I kind of got back into hunting, and that's when I started with the English dogs. Currently live in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and sell insurance for a living. So like to hunt and fish and golf and raise these kiddos, man.
Sounds like you got your plate full just with the kids alone.
Man, it's a house full, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. I got two myself, 2 boys, 1.5 years apart, and it can be a handful just them 2 at times. So I can't imagine.
Yeah, 4 is too many. I don't know. We finally got cable, so maybe we won't have any more kids.
Heard that. Well, you kind of answered my next few questions, but do you remember what made you switch to English dogs, and what time period of life was that for you?
Oh, man, it was probably 15 years ago. I don't know exact year, but Robbie Turk was the old man here in Brady that I hunted the red bones with, and I got out of high school and college and done all the sports and all the chasing girls and all the fun stuff, and it kind of settled down a little bit. And I'd called Robbie and told him I wanted to get back into hunting, and he said, man, in the world hunt this year, I think 2 out of the top 4 were English dogs. He said, give these English dogs a try. I hear they do a good job and are winning a lot. That breed has come a long way the last few years. So my first dog was a dog I called Ruger out of Rocky Creek, Spider-Man. Old male English dog. He was nice, just old country coon dog. We didn't win too much with him, but definitely had fun hunting him. I guess my first good hound that I had a lot of success with in the hunt was a dog I called River Bottoms Midnight Lady, and she was out of the Midnight Swamp Racket dog. It was a litter mate to Dale Hudson's Razor dog, a forget the name, Terry. I forget the name of the fellow that owned the racket dog. He was out in North Carolina, but and then Jamie Livingood had the bottom side of Lady, and she was awesome, man. We won a bunch of hunts with her, and probably the first, truly nice dog I had. And then I raised and bought me a 6-week-old puppy out of Jones Raising Cane and Pit Hole Creek Sissy, and he went by the name of River Bottoms Ramblin' Ringo. Nathan Guthrie bought him when he was in his prime and pushed him, and Jack and I actually drew him at English Days, so we got to hunt against him after I sold him. But he was a great dog. Didn't really want to sell him, but I just kind of popped off a number, and Nathan bought him, and that's when I ended up with Cracker Jack. So, long story short, I guess.
Yes, sir. What did you notice? You started out hunting red bones with that fella. What did you notice was the biggest difference between the breeds when you made that transition?
English dogs to me didn't seem quite as trashy as them red bones. We tree some coons and we tree some possums and some ringtails and some porcupines. They were just a little more honest breed of dog, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm sure it may have just been the line of dogs I chose or the line I was hunting with in the red bones. But I don't know. I don't like to talk one dog up better than another, but
no, sir.
They just were a little quicker on track, seemed like, and got the job done just to suit me, I guess. I don't know, man, exactly how to go into detail on that, but I just got along well with them. I don't know. They weren't as trashy. They weren't as hard to train to me, and I don't know, man. I just liked them.
My grandpa and I, we raised and trained red bones for a little bit out of the outlaw bloodline. I don't know if you know anything about those, but what I noticed is they start a lot slower than most dogs, and I'm not knocking them, but that's just the temperament they are. They take a little bit longer to get their feet under them, if you will. And these English dogs seem to be fast starting and natural acting, from what I've learned. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna piggyback on that. Definitely we had to be patient with a lot of Robbie's dogs growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The Walker dogs that I hunted with, the old black feller down here in Brady had some the Walker and the Blue Tick, and that Walker dog would slick tree. The Blue Tick would put armadillos in the hole, and we would and all along we treated piles of coons with them too. So they were good dogs. Just you'd go through several stages or several nights where you were frustrated walking back to the truck with them. More or less it started with Lady and Ringo. I just really saw an honest breed of dog that hunted hard for you and was super accurate and didn't really act up or do anything wrong very often. I mean, how they all tree a possum once in a while, I guess, but I didn't have near as many issues with them, and just like I said, I got along a lot better with them. It's still going.
Yes, sir. Is there any particular story behind where the River Bottoms name come from, or just something you made up and stuck? Or
I just grew up a little barefoot hillbilly on the San Saba River down here in Texas, and that's where I hunted and trained all my dogs down the rivers. And Robbie and I hunted the rivers growing up, and I don't know. That was what I went with, man. I'm not a real smart guy, so I couldn't come up with anything very creative.
I got you. Well, it's definitely stuck, and it's definitely well known now, I'd say. So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a journey.
Yes, sir. So you got an English dogs. Was there a particular time, like when you got into this particular bloodline, or was it just kind of always this, and you stuck with it?
No, I tinkered around with some different dogs. Like I said, the Spider-Man dog, that pup I had out of him had a big old pretty mouth on him. And I liked him. He wasn't real quick and just wasn't a great competition dog, but a good solid little country coon dog. And then I went through some of the I'm not talking bad about anybody's line of dog, but I went through some of the Main Street dogs and some of the Jesse Lee dogs, and they were chirp mouth or chop mouth or just not real big mouth dogs most of the time. I know there's an exception to the rules on a lot of those dogs, and I've hunted with some super nice ones out of all those lines of dogs. But I'm not a chop mouth dog kind of guy. I'm not a silent hound kind of guy either. I like one to tell me what they're doing when they're hunting, and like a big pretty ball mouth on the ground and a good locate and a steady chop mouth tree dog. And I just kept fishing till I found one, a breed that I liked that had all those traits. And Alan Short is the one I owe everything to as far as credit on that line of dogs. I didn't breed in my yard for 30 years to produce the greatest hound in the world or anything like that. I bought Jack from Alan when he was probably a year and a half old, and Jack had already had him, or Alan had already had Jack trained and ready to go. So all I did was hunt the dog and foot the bill for the hunt. So that's really all the credit I can take for the Cracker Jack dog. But I will never hunt anything else. I mean, that line of dogs hustles and they love to be by themselves. They definitely not a me tooing type of dog, and got big old mouths and big old motors. So they leave quick and get struck quick and get treed quick. And we kept a tab on Jack one summer up in Indiana. Now they got a lot more coons up there than we do down in Texas. But Jared Lehman said they made 47 trees with Jack and counted 46 coons in a den. So really super accurate. And his pups and his brothers and his sister, I've never hunted any of them that weren't just super accurate dogs. When they tree, they got a coon. And most of the time, whenever you get done hunting at the end of the night and you welcome back to the truck, you're pleased with what your dog did. So I'm awful partial to him. I'm proud to own him.
Yes, sir. How did you meet Alan Short? How did that relationship come about?
Man, to be honest with you, I don't know. I can't remember that. Somebody had told me about the guy had a dog for sale down in Georgia that was supposed to be nice, and I was looking for a tricolor dog, and I had called Travis Sneed, and he's out of Tennessee. He had bought a puppy when I bred Lady to the Top Gun dog out of Larry Wilcox. Travis had bought a puppy from me, and we had become friends, and I asked him to go down to, he was heading to Florida to do some work down there, and I asked him to stop by Allen's and hunt Cracker Jack and see what he thought and kind of give me some feedback on him. And I'd read off some of his papers, and he said, "Oh, hell, I don't know, man, I think you ought to keep looking around. Some of them dogs are okay, some of them I don't know, some of them I don't like." And I said, "Well, just go try him and see what you think." And he called me that night and he said, "Man, I believe I bought the son of a bitch. He's pretty nice." And so after him being a little negative initially on the paperwork side of the dog, to hear him tell me he was good to go with it, I knew he was something special, because Travis leads a really nice hound that's in his leash also. He's never he's always packing a coon dog whenever I've seen him. So I knew he had some good pointers to give me and a good reference to use for going to look at Jack trying him. That thing went back and forth, man. I bought Jack and got him here. Well, let me rewind just a second, man. I apologize. I called Alan after Travis had told me to buy him, and I tried to haggle him on the price a little bit. And if you know Alan Short, he doesn't haggle, and he doesn't Jew, and he doesn't negotiate or anything. And he didn't like that very much. And then he told me that he had a guy that wanted to buy him if I didn't. And I don't know, I've been in sales my whole life, and I thought it was some kind of slick little sales trick, if you don't buy him, somebody else will right now type of deal. So I passed on him, and a fella named Johnny Jowers bought him. He's an older fella down in, I think he lives in Georgia also. But he bought him, and I called him and said, "Man, I thought Alan was just kidding. I didn't really realize he had a buyer for the dog." And he said, "Yeah, I got him." So about a week later, he called and he said, "Man, this dog's pulling my shoulder out of socket. He's got too much motor for me. So if you want him, I'll sell him to you." So I bought him from Johnny, actually, not Alan. And that was about a week after Travis had hunted him. And then a fella from Georgia, a boy that had hunted Jack when he was a puppy son, called me and offered me a little profit on the dog. And I sold him. And he kept him 3 or 4 months and had a baby coming and called me back and said he wanted to sell him back to me. And we made a deal on him, and I bought Jack back. And I met Alan with him at the Winter Classic in Batesville. Maybe Alan didn't deliver. I don't remember who brought the dog, but I picked Jack up at the Winter Classic, and we were hunting the slam hunts. And I guess they started on Wednesday night, and we won our cast Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, all 4 nights we won our cast, and we were a high-scoring dog of the English breed that year at the Winter Classic. So I kept him after that.
Yeah. He came home to live there, huh?
That's right. Yep, he'll die here now for sure. He earned his keep after that. I couldn't cut loose of him, but
So you got him from you did had huge success out the gate at the Winter Classic, but did you ever expect from that moment that he would grow into this legend that he is and be the dog that he has become?
man, I really honestly did. To be honest, just to be honest, I'm not a pat my own back or sit here and brag at the top of the mountain type of guy all day. Jack is one of those special dogs that when you hunt with him that he's one in a million, once in a lifetime type of dog. Jack has thrown some phenomenal puppies. I'm super proud of what he's done in the stud dog pen too. But I still hadn't hunted one out of him that's as nice as he is. He's just one of those dogs that you just know there's something special about him. We came back the next year and we're high scoring dog at the Winter Classic again for the English breed, and then he won the American Heritage Hunt. He won the high scoring dog at English Days. I couldn't even go on about all the way. He won the CHKC World Hunt up in Kentucky back in 2018. Ronnie Rister is another guy, man. I got to give him a lot of credit. He hunted Jack a whole lot for me and took him to a lot of hunts. And Brad Cox is another one. He was a handler for me that ran the Purina race with Jack and did a great job. We ended up second that year. And you always hear these sob stories and excuses, but we did get cheated. We didn't get beat, but that happened, I guess. But should have won the Purina race. Should have been the Purina Nationals champion up there. They kicked us out of that hunt up in Illinois when we went up there to hunt in it. So we've had our fair share of bad dealings, I guess you could say. But nonetheless, the dog's done a pile of winning and won something, the Lone Star 5000 big PKC hunt down here in Texas, and he won the hunt Thursday night here a few years ago. I think that was in 2018. But Jack's just one of those dogs, man. Every time you pull up to the hunt, you expect him to win. And I don't know what his cast win percentage is, but I would guess it was in the 80s or 90s. I mean, he's just one of those kind that makes it happen. If you're down in the hunt, a minute left to go, he treated you a coon by himself and put you in the lead. Just one of them kind of dogs that just made it happen when he had to. So, but yeah, I didn't know we'd do as much winning as we do. I didn't know he'd make it to number 1 on the reproducers list like he has. But awful proud of him. I owe thank you to so many folks, man. It's nothing that I did in particular. Alan kept him in Georgia and bred him for a while. I had a friend in Tennessee keep him in Tennessee and breed him for a while. Eric Emery's had him in Indiana. Jared Lehman, Eric Evans, Cody Zumwaltz, Johnny Avilas. I know I'm probably forgetting some folks, man, but all these guys have had Jack in their backyard helping me breed females and hunting him. Brad Cox and Ronnie Rister really handled the dog probably just as much as I did in all those hunts. But it was a team effort, man. I was always wanting to keep Jack in the spotlight and get him in the hunts, people would always call and ask to breed to him, but I was down here in Texas, so we didn't breed very many females. And so I started, after we got done campaigning him in the hunts, I started sending him to my buddies up north, whoever had an open kennel, basically, that would take him, and I was comfortable with them taking good care of him and stuff. We'd send him up north and let him breed all the females that would come to him. But it's been a group effort, man. Like I said, I can't take a lot of credit for any of this.
Do you have any idea of the number of pups he has on the ground?
I don't. No, I hadn't looked at the producer list in a couple of months now, but 200 or 300 somewhere there, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you.
Are y'all still breeding them?
We got one female we're gonna try at the end of this month. They tested his semen earlier in last month, and he's losing his count. So he's at the end of his rope as far as his breeding days are concerned. Now we do have him collected and have quite a bit of semen put up on him. But as far as live covering females, this female that we're fixing to try and breed is going to be the last one. Then they're going to ship Jack out to Colorado with me, and he'll finish out his days out there.
How old is Jack right now?
He's a 12-year-old. Yeah, he'll be 13 in December. And he still hunts like a 4-year-old. That's the thing that I love about him, man. That dog, you cut him loose today, and he'll break your arm trying to get off that leash, and barks in the dog box. Unless you have a collar on him, he's just excited to go hunting, and he still just acts like a puppy when it comes to hunting, man. He loves what he does.
Ronnie tells me he's a stay put tree dog. When he gets to that tree, he hugs that tree, and he just grips it until you get him off of it.
And good luck getting him off of it. That sucker, he digs in and holds tight, man. He is a stay put tree dog.
Yes, sir.
That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't talk about this on these podcasts, but the dog, had a reputation when he was younger to be a little rough. But and we got our 3 scratches in UKC. One of those was in the Purina race, and the dog wasn't even around another dog, and they scratched him for fighting. They wasn't even barking at each other. But that was the screwing that we got handed in the Purina race that I was talking about earlier. But Jack is one of those kind of dogs that he's gonna go treat his coon, and if something else joins him, that's okay. But they better not pile on him or face bark him or get in this. I've had a puppy sit there and face bark Jack. Larry Wilcox and I were hunting up to Michigan with Jack and that Gunsmoke dog he used to have. And Gunsmoke was treeing and had his foot on Jack's head and the other front foot on the tree. And Jack didn't do anything. We're sitting there watching it, and he didn't jump on the Gunsmoke dog. But if a dog would go in there and put some fang pressure on Jack, he damn sure fight, and he'll do it today. And a lot of people talk bad about a dog like that, but I don't really want one that's going to leave a tree.
Right.
If something comes in there and gets rough, I want them to stand their ground, and if that means taking a scratch, I'll take it. But if you come up and punch me in the face, I'm going to punch you right back. I'm not going to sit there and just take it. And that's the kind of dogs we hunt too. So.
Yes, sir. Is there anything, you pretty much you love the dog, but is there anything that you just really like most about him, you can count on every time you cut him loose, or anything that sticks out about Jack?
He treated a lot of coons that a lot of dogs can't smell. Lay up coons. We were at English Days one year, and we cut him out of the truck, and within 30 seconds he had split from the group. They all 4 took off, together, running and leaving hard, and it was like 30 seconds later, man, and Jack wasn't 120 yards in there. I was kind of puzzled that nothing else said anything, but he just fell treed in there, and them other 3 just kept on rolling by him. And he had a coon. He had a coon. We had a real nice. We only made her a night champion, but the Brady Creek's Tree Slamming Sadie dog, probably the best female that we crossed on Jack. They produced the D female and the Flop dog and Batman, and a lot of the big name dogs that Jack's produced have come out of that cross. But we had her and 2 puppies hunting all together one night working on some pups. And Jack treated a coon right there off the bluffs on the river there. And all 3 of them run right past him. And Sadie was a good layup dog. So I'm like, man, how did she not smell that coon? But Jack will lay coon up a tree that a lot of dogs can't smell, and I love his mouth and his motor, man. That dog always leaves you in a hurry, and he's got a monster mouth on him. You can carry him from a long, long way.
For those that don't know, what is Jack out of directly, and what's he go back to?
He's out of Short's loudmouth JR, which Alan Short, owned that dog and promoted him. And he's probably, I hate to say this, but JR may be the better reproducer of the two. I don't know. I like pups out of both of them that I've hunted. Alan wasn't the type of fella to send JR to another man's house to stand him. So I don't think he may not have bred as many females as Jack, or I think he might have been higher up there on the list because I've hunted some really nice dogs out of JR. But yeah, he's out of Short's loudmouth JR and Short's Blue Angel. Goes back to the old Rocky dog on top. A touch of Woodstock back there. There's 2 shots of Rolling Rock and some Grand Lake Tack and Blue Squall and some dogs out of Oklahoma from years back. But he's not any, I guess now he might be bred in purple because of him and JR, but he's not one of those all grand stud dogs, or he doesn't have the best pedigree on paper that has anything in the world. But whatever it was, it worked, man. I'm happy with it. But yeah, his mama was just she's just a PR dog. She's not even titled, and that's what he goes back to.
Yes, sir. That's saying a lot about the stud dog he was bred. That was bred, JR.
Yeah. So, JR sold some really nice, man. And I think Alan, he's been at it for a while and bred his own stuff for years and years and years. So, like I said earlier, I give him most of the credit there. I can't remember the dog's name, McNutt Creek Bullet or something like that. I think it was JR out of. Supposed to be a nice dog down there in Georgia too, but I don't know a whole lot, man. I feel kind of embarrassed to say that on this deal, but I don't know just a whole lot about every line of dogs in the English breed, or even that much about the own dog I hunt. I don't know exactly what his grandma and grandpa did on the ground and on the tree. Your people call me and ask me all these questions all the time. I'm like, man, I don't know. I can tell you what Jack did, and that's about it. I never hunted with JR. I can tell you what Jack's puppies have done, and I've hunted with 7 or 8 good JR dogs that I can tell you about, but I don't know just a whole lot about the pedigree on dogs. I don't study that as much as I should, I guess.
Is there any new projects or any young dogs you're working on trying to build up, or just you're going to keep growing Cracker Jack's legacy?
No, man, Jack, unfortunately, he's at the end of his rope, man. He's done. And I think he's done enough
Yes, sir.
to earn his keep at my spot. We got a little spot picked out for him. We're going to put him next to Sadie whenever he passes. So we buried her last year, and we got a little pet cemetery, if you will, here behind the house in Texas. So I'm gonna have to drive him down from Colorado to Texas when the time comes. But no, I'm not going to do any more promoting with him. I've got several pups out of him that we're working and trying to get ready, and we kind of sift through them. And there's a couple of them that have got me excited. And once again, Alan Short, I can't thank him enough. He's got him down there at his place in Georgia, and he's the one that does the training on the dogs I hunt. And he's just that Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer guy, whatever they call him. Yeah. Alan's one of those kind of guys. I mean, he just has a way with dogs, and I've tried it 100 times. And Ronnie's the same way. Are you kin to Ronnie some kind of way?
He's my father-in-law.
Okay, yeah. Ronnie's the same kind of deal, man. When I bought that Spider-Man puppy, I had trouble getting him to tree, and Ronnie came down here, and the first night he hunted with him, he just did a little drag on a coon he'd shot out of a tree and shook him around and got that little dog excited. He treed from then on. Some people just have that gift about them, and nothing against Ronnie, but Alan's just a step a little further. I mean, he's just one of them guys that just got it. And I've had puppies that I've tried to start, and Alan, I can't get him to tree, or Alan, this dog slick trend or whatever the case may be. I don't know what the story is, but the son gun has a solution for whatever problem comes about. And like I said, I've tried them 6, 7, 8 months trying to get them fixed, and I'll send him out there and he'll fix them in a week.
Yep.
You know, I'm just like, man, I don't know how you do this, but I love you. He always sends you back a dog that's ready to go, and it doesn't take him long. He's just a wizard with those pups, man. He really knows his stuff.
Yeah, he really
But
studies
yeah,
them dogs, from what I've gathered.
I'm sorry?
Alan really studies them dogs and is passionate about what he does.
Yeah, that's right. And he'd sit out there in the yard and read a book and sit in a lawn chair and let them puppies chew on his feet. And, he'd just sit out there for hours and just play with them and get to know their temperament and personalities. And it just knows what to do. When they do something wrong, he knows how to correct them and quickly to where they don't make a habit of doing it. And I don't know, man. He's just one of those guys that knows his stuff. I wish I knew half of what he did. I'd be a lot better off in the hunting world anyway.
Yes, sir. Before we wrap this up, you mentioned a lot of people gave credit to, but is there anybody else or anything you want to say to anyone, or maybe to some young man out there that's just starting, maybe a little frustrated, any kind of motivation you want to give? I'm just going to open up the floor and let you, just wrap this up and say anything you want to.
Well, Flops is definitely one of we named the dog after him, but the one of the ones that Ronnie hunts quite a bit. But I don't even know his real name, Daryl Burnett, I think, something like that. But they call him Flop down in College Station where he lives, and he guided me 2 nights at this Texas state hunt when we won the state hunt. And that was just being from Texas. That was probably my most proud win of all of it. I mean, the Purina race and American Heritage and all that's all great, but the Texas state hunt kind of what meant the most to me. And he put me on some coons, put me in a place that Jack could perform, and I really appreciate him doing that. Brad Cotton, another English guy, he's retired and got out of hunting, but I could go on and on. Will Cox, Eric Evans, James Hoover, we've hunted Roy Cal, all these guys. They're a bunch of good folks that I've met in the English breed, Asa Briggs, and we've always had a good time. We go up to English days and get to visit with everybody. And the relationships I've made and the friends I've made through Jack and hunting these English dogs have meant more to me than all the winning and legacy and whatever you want to talk about. But yeah, I think if I forgot somebody, I'm sorry, but I think I got all my thank yous out of the way. To a young fella that's struggling, man, just keep your head up, keep hunting, hunt them dogs by themselves. Don't pack hunt. Everybody likes to pack hunt and hunt with your buddies. That's not good for your dog. And if they don't make it, get rid of them, man. That's something that really frustrates me about some guys in the breed or that don't know any better, I guess you could say. Really bothers me when somebody buys a good bred dog that doesn't make it and they're not worth feeding and they start breeding them. And, it does not do anything beneficial to the breed. You're just putting out a bunch of coals that need to be shot, in my opinion. So don't breed your dog if it's not any good, and hunt them by themselves would be my 2 words of advice.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Mr. Randall, and I really appreciate you doing this with us, and I hope you enjoyed it.
We thank you for listening to the TDM podcast. We hope you enjoyed our interview. Before we go, we want to highlight a few more things to leave you with, and that is our kennel partners. Kennel partners include Snow Tracker Kennels with Mel Strife, Saline River Tree Dogs with Trey Gennard. If you need a squirrel or coon dog trained, tuned up, or boarded, give Trey a call. And Horseshoe Kennels, owned by Spencer Brown. Our stud dog partners include Blue Boy Curly, English dog, owned by Andrew Ratcliffe, and Finley River Death Row Joe 3, Tree and Walker dog, owned by Jeff Lackley. Give them all a look up on our Facebook and our website for more information, and if you're interested in breeding to them, give them a call and tell them we sent you. Thank you for listening. Until next time, happy hunting and God bless.